Hey, the Minnesota Vikings finally won something. Woo, love it, man. So Tom Pelissero, go. The NFLPA is releasing its first ever team report cards based on surveying, really good at reading, roughly 1,300 players, ranking number one overall in football facility, staff, and overall treatment of the players. The Vikings, followed by the Dolphins at 2, Raiders at 3. So super interesting, really came out of nowhere. And the categories of the grades are treatment of families, very important. Like, you taking care of families? Do they have support? Do they have resources? Or are they just sort of out there on their own? Good service / nutrition. So the food. Food in the facility, weight room, strength coaches, training room, training staff, locker room, and team travel. So a lot of things, like, they don't even get to like on the field stuff. They would get to like, I don't know, like stadium conditions, all that stuff, caliber of the team, basically all of the intangible stuff that comes with being a professional player. And it is important, and it can dictate like where a player goes. I mean, these were called free agency report cards for a reason. So, baby, come to Minnesota. That's right. We'll treat you right. And this is the overview of the Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are ranked as the best team in our guide. 100% of players feel like owner Ziggy Wilf is willing to spend money to upgrade the facilities, and the assessment makes sense since the Vikings have gone through 3 significant upgrades in recent years. Their facility was recently built and is considered state-of-the-art. This past year, they replaced former head coach Mike Zimmer with Kevin O'Connell, who through his first year is regarded as one of the most player-friendly head coaches. Additionally, the former head trainer, who several players had negative experience with, moved on from the organization. So that's a shot at former trainer Eric Sugarman. The Minnesota Vikings are a shining example of what is possible when a concerted investment is made in both staffing and facilities. And it is true. I mean, the Wilfs, they are willing to spend the money. U.S. Bank Stadium is one of the best in the league, if not the best. The facilities at Egan are top of the line. TCO Performance Center, Bar and Grill. And the Vikings overall, like, they do take care of their guys. And Kevin O'Connell and adofo-mensah coming in and building a culture of support and positivity, that certainly helps as well. And then you look at the grades. So it's kind of funny. It's all right. So let's see who sucks. So treatment of families, you got the Vikings up there with an A. And then treatment of families at the bottom, the Cardinals, the Bengals, the Jaguars, and the Commies. All right, so that's a little bit rough. All right, so nutrition, food, Vikings, A-. We'll take it. Down at the bottom, you got the Chargers, which is interesting because the Chargers have new facilities too. And then you got the Saints, the Cardinals, and the Bengals. They all have F- for food. That's rough. And also, isn't that like one of the easiest things to fix? I mean, just bring in an elite kitchen staffing team, and is that an investment in your players too? Like the actual fuel? I don't know, man. Weight room. You know where the weight room is? Vikings have an A, and only the Cardinals have F-. This is kind of rough for the Cardinals. So the Cardinals have Fs or F- in treatment of families, food, weight room, training room, and locker room. Stuff, man. Strength staff. Vikings up there with the A+. Gotta love it. Ravens F-. That's kind of surprising. God, I'm having way too much fun with this. Training room. Vikings with the A+, and then you go all the way down to the Commies, the Chargers, and the Cardinals again. So there's a recurring theme. Seems like the teams up at the top are at the top, and teams down at the bottom are at the bottom. And it just seems like simple stuff, like nutrition, making sure that there's resources for families, travel, all that stuff. I mean, it just seems pretty easy to suture up. And, it's a $1 billion industry. And, yeah, you're trying to cut corners and increase profit margins, but tossing a couple more 100,000 into nutrition, a couple 100,000 or $1 million into treatment of families and the weight room and all that stuff, I mean, that does make a difference. It really does. The Chiefs, D- for training staff. It's kind of crazy. Where are the Buffalo Bills? I was going to say A. I was like, they better be high. They better be high. The training staff of the Bills better be ranked damn high. And then locker room. Again, I'm sure they're talking about the actual facility as opposed to like the people in the locker room. But Vikings with an A+. And then down to the bottom, you got the Cardinals and the Commies again, where it's just... again, hey, Daniel Snyder, Michael Bidwell, you can't spend up to have a nice locker room. What's going on, man? What's going on? But it is super. First off, it's super interesting that Pelissero is reporting on this because, Pelissero is a Big J journalist, yes, but he works for NFL Network, which is owned by the owners. So Pelissero is reporting that the NFLPA is shatting on a certain percentage of these owners. So that's really hilarious, man. But, I mean, the Vikings, all we do is win in terms of team staff and training staff and team travel and treatment of families and nutrition. And eventually that will carry over onto the field. The score does take care of itself. So you do have to respect what the Wilfs and Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah have done, just trying to make this a high standard organization, and everything else will take care of itself, hopefully. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. The Vikings ranked number 1 by the NFLPA in their free agency report cards. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.